Yeah, let the big dog hunt. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Kallas Remarks with your host, Joe Staszak, co-host and star of the show, Steve Kallas. How you doing, my friend?
All good, Joe. What a night. I'm glad we waited to do this, and I know it's going to be quick, but my
It,
goodness,
it is it
unbelievable.
is a Sunday morning. We usually tape this on Friday, but um, Steve had the idea to wait to see how this plays out because we have to talk about it. It was one of the greatest series I've ever seen. I've seen some great series. The last game seven in the World Series was in 2016 when the Cubs beat the Indians. There was the great blackjack game in 1991, Braves and Twins when Jack Morris pitched 10 innings. And then there was last night. It was so epic. I had to feel for the Toronto fans because that's something. And someone texted me, well, it's payback for Joe Carter, a Philly fan texted, because of all the problems with the Maple Leafs and how they tank every year. This was a very good team, and they were 5 outs away and then 2 outs away from winning last night. And the Dodgers hit three solo home runs to come back, tie it up, extra innings, and Will Smith bombed one. But the Jays, and I'm not sure if it was the ninth or the 10th, had the bases loaded with 1 out, and there were plays at the plate. There was the catch by the center fielder that could have ended the game. There's so much epicness in the game. I just feel like just shutting down and saying that was one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
I think you're 100% right. And it was up to Rojas to hit that home run where everybody was fainting because this
Hasn't
guy hit
had a hit in
homers.
a month.
He, and I don't think, I know he didn't have an extra base hit in his, I think he had 20 at bats in the World Series. And on the 20th at bat, he hit this surprise homer. But he also hit only two home runs in his last 57 games. I mean, he's been around a long time and he's a steady second baseman. Remember that great scoop he made the other, on that throw from left field from Kiki Hernandez. Um, it's just incredible. And it was interesting. I saw Roberts, who you have to give more respect to now. He put Pages,
You
I
put
think that's how you
pies
pronounce it,
in,
Pages. That's one of the greatest catches of all time because it's in game seven of the World Series.
if it drops, the game's over. They lose. And the
Correct.
left fielder, it was over his head. He was just falling down, and pies.
Yeah.
He just got in the game. I mean, he's cold.
Right.
I
But he
mean,
can run. He's a good defender, obviously, and he can run like the wind. And if you're not a good defender and can't run, whoever was in there before him wasn't going to catch that ball. So there's so many of those. I mean, think about just game six very briefly. A ball gets stuck in the bottom.
right. It gets stuck at the bottom of the
And this is
fence.
in Toronto. This is in Toronto, so you can't say anything to Toronto. But if that ball doesn't get stuck, they already score a run. And the question is, will the guy be on second or third? Um, Game of inches. I mean, that's like an inch.
There was a
If it's
play
an
at the
inch,
plate last night that they reviewed, and it looked like the catcher. When you first saw it, we're like, "Whoa, he might have come off the plate," and then that's the ball gets the World Series.
you know what I was thinking though, Joe? If they called the seventh game of the World Series on a
On a
reversal,
reverse.
even if correct, boy, that would be hard to do.
That'd be a buzzkill. That would be hard to do. You imagine the guys in back where they review and they're he's safe. What?
I mean,
It was so
and that might,
entertaining.
that might happen someday, and they'll say, "Well, we got it right," and you'll say, "Yeah, reversal call," and they could have reversed it. I think if he was called safe, they might not have reversed it back to
They
out.
they made a pretty quick decision on where it was almost like, yeah, we're not
Well,
reversing this.
I think you're right. I think that's probably what happened behind the scenes. How can we have this in game set? This is the greatest World Series in how many years? And trash football for a couple of days for once. And that's the only chance you have to crush football. But we do have to talk about Yamamoto because what he did,
On
you
no
know,
days rest.
after the game, they were talking about his what he does. He throws a javelin before the game when he pitches. He has these stretching things, and we've seen Ichiro years ago. If you saw what Ichiro did now, not a pitcher, but if you saw what he did all these stretching things, and they have their own little thing, but it certainly worked out because this guy to come back, he threw the complete game in game two after throwing a complete game in the prior series, unheard of nowadays, right? And I'm starting to read. I was looking up stuff about the 1926 World Series when we'll talk about because Grover Cleveland Alexander did the same thing, won game six, pitched a couple of game seven. Babe Ruth helped him out by getting thrown out, stealing, but whatever. But now when it's interesting because when they write about, they say things like, "Oh, he went in 1926. Oh, he went all 9 innings." Well, they always went all 9 innings, always. But now this is becoming so it's impossible to go 9 innings that people think in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s they didn't go 9 innings. That's absurd, of course. But Yamamoto, for what he did, lights out in the first game, pitched, I'll say only 6 innings because for him that's short, but to come out and throw first get out of the first jam and then come back and then come back 2 and 2/3 innings, I think he threw. I know the pitches were 96 yesterday and 34 today. I mean, it's unfathomable. I certainly remember Randy Johnson, uh, that game six that he pitched and won, they won like 15-2. But then he comes in game seven, pitches an inning in the third, wins the World Series, gets his 3 wins. In the old days, a lot of guys got 3 wins, right? Bob Gibson, game one, four, and seven for the Cardinals. Um, there are lots of guys who won 3 games. And I remember they were talking about batting averages against, and I don't know if they have batting averages back to 1905, but they had the pitchers' batting averages against, and he was one of them. I forget who the others were. You would know them all. And I'm thinking, hold it now. Christy Mathewson in 1908, I think, threw 3 shutouts. He threw 3 shutouts 2 games apart, but this was on your entire World Series numbers, and he pitched a lot more in the World Series. But whatever, Yamamoto, MVP, 5-1 in the playoffs. This is just for the World Series, of course, but he got three wins in the World Series. 1.45 ERA, 37 innings pitched, 33 strikeouts, 5 starts. He was 5-1. And yesterday was the biggest of all, which was his non-start. But you got
Well,
to give
I
credit.
mean, Madison Baumgartner did in one of those years that they won one of their three. It was against the Royals actually. He pitched the night before, or so maybe, but I don't think it was the night before. And it's an all hands on deck situation. I get it, but Baumgartner came in and pitched 5 shutout innings after that. Yamamoto, I mean, impressive. There's so much pressure on you in these games, and it was so every big play, every big moment was like, and I have no skin in the game, but it was just entertaining. I stayed up for all 18 innings the other night, and I was glad I did, even though it kind of wrecked my week sleep-wise. And then I didn't think anything could top it, but game seven last night, because there were so many critical plays, it just could have gone either way. Can't even describe it to people who may not be into sports, but I think sports because it's unpredictable and it's not, written and you never know what's going to happen when you show up to the ballpark or the rink or the field. And
And,
last
and
night was an example of that.
And I'll give a shout out to Max Scherzer, 41 years old. You thought he was going to get bombed, but he came back in the playoffs. His ERA was like 9 in September. He had missed 3 months. But he's throwing 96 last night. He gave up 1 run and 4 in the third. What more could you ask
More
for?
could you?
And afterwards, they interviewed him and said, "Well, is that it?" And he said, "I don't know. I have to think about it." And then he said, "But I can't see this being the last pitch I threw tonight being the end of my career." So that says to me he's coming back, and I'm sure they'll be happy to have him because he's got to help these pitchers. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer himself. He did start that game seven for Washington when they won it all, and he gave up 2 runs in 5 innings, didn't get the win, but he was Max Scherzer back then, right?
Yeah, right. There's a
I think.
difference.
But I think they'll bring him back. Uh, and I'll say again, this Pages catch, I've always said the greatest catch in the history of the world, which you can find on YouTube, is Willie Mays in Candlestick Park in right center field. Barry Bonds, not Bobby Bonds. Hold it. Who's the father?
Bobby Bonds is the father.
I'm losing my mind. Bobby Bonds was a great player, not Barry Bonds, but not he wasn't Barry Bonds, but he
Right.
was really. And Mays was playing center. He was playing right. This is a regular season game though, and it was similar to this catch last night because Bonds is running and Mays literally jumps over with him, crashes with him, and catches the ball against the wall. This was a very similar catch, and you have to count this as maybe the greatest catch of all time. Catch it, you go in and bat. Don't catch it, the World Series is over, right? So I give him all the credit in the world. And look, whatever you think of Dave Roberts, and a lot of think as well, he's loaded, blah blah blah. He put this guy in center
He
field in
made the
that
right
inning.
moves.
So you have to
He
give
looked
credit.
very good doing it.
Interestingly, they asked him because I was wondering. I texted Johnny because I was wondering why didn't they pinch hit for Rojas?
Yeah,
Right. So they asked Dave Roberts, and now after he hits a home run, he's like, "Well, I have great confidence in these guys, and I didn't want to take them out." And well, yeah, okay,
of course, of course.
but the question would have been, "Did you think about it?" And see what that answer was. But hey, give Rojas all the credit in the world. Hey, Will Smith, he had injuries before the playoffs. I mean, there was a question mark whether he was going to play or not. And boy, was he big time. I think he had the home run, was it in game two? That was the game breaker in game two. And this one, look, you got a hanging slider. I get it, but you still got to hit it out.
Got to hit it out.
And he hit it out. He caught all 18 innings in the 18 inning game. So he obviously caught more innings than anybody's ever catcher ever caught in a World Series game, in a World Series 7 game series or any other game series for that matter. So there's so many heroes to go around. I wanted to talk about Bichette just briefly because he dragged to just play and he hit this gigantic 3-run homer that was
Two-run
going to
home run
make
to get it
him
done.
Superman in Toronto forever if they could have pulled that out. And it's just a heartbreaker for them. I feel terrible for them. They made Mookie Betts look like a AAA player. I mean, Mookie Betts, you feel so bad for him. He did have that one single that went through. Nothing else seemed to go through. And he did make the final play of the game. That's kind of what they were hoping for because Kirk is a really good hitter, but he can't run.
Right, he did, but
Can't
he didn't
run.
have to. Well, yeah, that's right. And he
And
broke his bat on the play and
yeah,
right to
so
bets.
so what a way to end it. But again, Yamamoto, first among equals in this on this team for this World Series. But for him to do it, and you heard Leiter on MLB Network, I pitched till I was 40. I can't believe the guy went out there. And it is incredible, but it has been done before again. Um, Johnson did it in 2001. Grover Cleveland Alexander did it against the Yankees in 1926. The Cardinals beat them. And then next year, the 27 Yankees were the greatest team ever. I'm not so sure. And I'm a Yankee guy. But whatever, you got to give all credit. I give a lot of credit to the Blue Jays. They're a real good team. I mean, Ernie Clement, who had a great series, he's the one who hit that ball to left center field. He's the hero forever if it's not caught. But Pages came. I mean, if you look at the ground he covered, they had the wide view of it, and the left fielder couldn't cover what he was covering. I mean, it was just incredible what he did. That might be the greatest catch ever. I don't know if other people are saying that, but I'm saying it.
I'll go with
Willie
that.
Mays, greatest catch ever, 1954 World Series. Yeah, but it was game one.
No,
Not
it was
it was
game
game.
seven. It was you catch it, you bat, like you said, you don't catch it a game. I'll go with Pages last night.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Completely clutch and just it was unbelievable. So the baseball season wraps. We have week 9 of NFL football. It's gonna be a little bit of an abbreviated version. The big game is the Chiefs at Buffalo tonight, and I'm still look. I need to see more. They look pretty buttoned up since starting 0-2, but people were talking like they're the greatest thing, since the team that almost three-peated. I need to see more from the Chiefs. They are playing well. They do have Mahomes. They're at Buffalo again, and they've ended Buffalo's season the last 2 years, and they seem to end their season all the time. We'll see what happens. But your thoughts on that game tonight?
Well, just quickly, I mean, am I going to bet? No, it's a pass game for me, but it almost, I don't want to say it doesn't matter because the Chiefs have 3 losses already, but um, what is I think Buffalo's 4-1 against Mahomes in the regular season,
Yes, they
but
are.
0-4 in the playoffs. So I'm not looking at this and saying, who cares? Because the Chiefs need to get on a good winning streak. And Buffalo hasn't been great. They just haven't been great. If I had to pick that game, I'd pick the Chiefs, but only because I think they have it back on. And I'm trying to think who said it yesterday. I wish on NFL Live they said, Chris Jones isn't Chris Jones this year so far, and Karlaftis, the Greek guy, he's not Karlaftis so far. So I don't know if that's they're just getting too old. Of course, Jones was criticized in that one game for walking on the
Jacksonville
goal
game.
line. And they have a lot of work to do, but I think because of the speed offensively, they're going to be scoring points now, and it's not going to be like last year. We were always talking about they were a defensive team, right?
Well, they had like one score games every week.
So I think with Spags being Spags, and maybe they get these veterans to play a little better. These guys all have windows. And I'm not saying Chris Jones is at the end of his window. He's a great player,
No,
the
and
Hall of
again,
Famer.
it's halfway through the season. There's plenty of time left.
Right. But Buffalo did get, I think Milano came back last week, so they're going to be juiced up a little on defense as well. But I think at the end of the day, it's always going to be Mahomes, Mahomes, Mahomes. And if he doesn't win tonight, if he doesn't win this game, then I think, if I see in the playoffs, the one it's going to be in their head. The guy
He
beat.
owns Buffalo in the playoffs. Absolutely. All right. How about picks? We're going to do three picks. You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I went 2-1 last week, thankfully. Again, second week in a row since our 6 week practice, if you will, since that ended. But I'm going for three anti-Joe Staszak moves. These are all road favorites.
Wow.
And so I can hear you shaking your head without you shaking your head. But I really like the Seahawks on the road, -3 at Washington. Although Daniels is playing, McLaurin isn't. And I wasn't aware of this, but maybe you are. The Seahawks have won their last 9 road games.
Yes, I was aware of that.
That's
That's
unbelievable.
unbelievable.
And much as I thought Washington could make a run at the Super Bowl this year, they just haven't been healthy enough. Daniels hasn't been healthy enough. McLaurin has
Yeah.
barely been around. And that's a big problem. So I'll take Seahawks on the road, -3 at Washington. Hurts me to pick against my Giants, but now that they've lost Scatterboo and they already lost Neighbors for the year, they've lost their all-pro wide receiver and star rookie running back. I mean, I don't know where their running game goes without him. And it's Salah against a rookie quarterback. I'm not taking anything away from Jackson Dart, but they're playing at the Meadowlands, and the 49ers are -2.5, Joe. I don't know if you're going to tell me that's too low. Maybe I'm just 100% wrong, but I'll take to be quick. Seahawks -3, 49ers -2.5. And I really like the Colts at the Steelers. That's -3.5. I thought that was low, even though the Colts are on the road. So you can comment on any of those, but give us your picks.
Okay, well, Carolina's up and down. I can kind of understand why they're prohibitive underdogs. Um, but 13 and a half points, I'll take that. I'll take that for Carolina. And they played a real stinker against Buffalo. I think that's line's a little inflated. That's a lot of points. I'm going to take an underdog plus two touchdowns or 13 and a half, wherever you find it. The Steelers. It was one of my losses last week, but Mike Tomlin at home as a dog is, I think, 22-8. And I was a little surprised last week that they didn't cover that game. They had a 9 point lead. Next thing you know, I woke up and the Packers had 35 points.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, so but I'm going to take them tonight. And I think the Colts might be due for a loss somewhere along the way. I don't know if Daniel Jones and Shane Steichen can keep this up. So I'm going to go Steelers. I'm going to go with the Mike Tomlin rule, +3.5. Again, home dog. And I'm going to go to the Bills. They're a home dog tonight, and they own Mahomes and the Chiefs in the regular season. So I'll take points in Orchard Park. If this was a playoff game, I'm going the other way. But in the regular season, like you said, I think Allen is 4-1 against the Chiefs, and they're home and they're getting points. So I got two home dogs, Steelers and Bills, and I got Carolina on the road. Hopefully they keep that close with the Packers. Good stuff, my man. We'll be back in 2 days actually to recap week 9 of the NFL season. And you can follow Steve on his daily Facebook forum page. Speaking of sports with Steve Kallas and myself on Instagram at Joe Staszak 4799 or on Twitter at Joe Staszak 975. Good stuff, my friend. Enjoy your day. Enjoy the games, everybody, and we'll see you in a couple of days.
Always a pleasure, Joe.
You too, brother. I'll talk to you.